Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at motion graphics. All that cool stuff that makes things move on screen.
Yeah.
Product demos.
Yeah.
Crazy special effects in sci-fi films.
It's like the psychedelic ninjas of the design world, right?
That's a good one. Blending visual skills with, mind-bending movement.
Absolutely.
It's really cool stuff. But what's crazy is how motion graphics even started.
Oh, yeah.
It's like just thinking about old-timey film titles,
Yeah.
back in the silent film era.
Right.
Those guys were the OGs, the original motion graphics masters.
Absolutely. They were pioneers using, stop motion hand-painted cells to create those really captivating title sequences.
It's amazing to see how all that has evolved with technology.
Yeah. It's crazy to think they did all that without computers.
Oh, no kidding. No fancy software, no undo button. Man, talk about pressure.
I know, right?
But hey, those early innovators really paved the way for the amazing tools we have today.
Yeah. Personal computers and software like Adobe After Effects. Total game changer.
Oh, yeah. That was huge. Creating complex animations and effects became accessible to way more artists and designers.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got these powerful tools now, but where do you even begin?
Right.
What's the secret sauce to becoming a motion graphics, wizard? Is there some secret society, with a secret handshake and hidden rituals?
I mean, there might not be any secret handshakes, but mastering those fundamental animation principles is key.
Oh, okay.
We're talking about things like timing, easing, making those movements look super smooth and natural, and those legendary 12 principles of animation.
Yes, the 12 principle. I remember when I first started messing around with animation.
Yeah.
Those principles were the holy grail. But to be honest, trying to wrap your head around stuff like squash and stretch or follow through can feel impossible.
It can definitely be a challenge. But the cool thing is these principles apply to any style of animation. Oh, okay.
Whether you're creating a realistic character animation or a stylized explainer video, understanding how to make those movements feel believable is essential.
That makes sense. So mastering those 12 principles is leveling up your animation game. Got it.
Yeah.
But let's talk software now. What's the go-to tool for motion graphics these days?
Well, Adobe After Effects is kind of the king in the motion graphics world.
Okay.
It's so versatile and powerful, you can create just about anything. From, simple text animations to those mind-bending visual effects.
After Effects. Huh. Sounds kind of intimidating. Is there a version of After Effects for dummies?
Huh. It might seem a little daunting at first, but trust me, it's way more user-friendly than you think.
Okay.
And there are tons of resources online, tutorials, courses, even whole communities.
Yeah.
All dedicated to After Effects.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. So After Effects is the big kahuna.
Yeah.
And there's help out there if you need it. But where do you find the good stuff, the real deal training? If you are looking for top-notch motion graphics training, you need to check out Kinomentor.com.
Okay.
They've got everything from beginner-friendly courses to advanced master classes, all taught by pros. It's your personal Jedi master for motion graphics.
Kinomentor.com, huh? Sounds like the real deal. So we've talked about the history, the software, and now a place to learn the ropes. What else do we need to know? Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back with more motion graphics.
And we are back. More motion graphics for you.
Right, so we laid the groundwork, talked about the history, the software, where to find some awesome training.
Right.
Now, what are some of those core skills a motion graphics master needs to have?
Well, aside from those foundational animation principles we talked about earlier, there's a whole bunch of techniques and tricks you got to conquer.
Okay.
It's kind of like a video game. You start with the basic moves, then level up to those crazy combos.
I like that.
Unlock the special attacks.
Okay, I'm digging the video game analogy. So what are some of the special attacks in motion graphics? The stuff that makes people go, whoa, how'd they do that?
Well, one that always blows people away is 3D integration.
Oh, yeah.
It's blending the real world with the digital, You're seamlessly incorporating 3D elements into your 2D animations.
Interesting.
It adds a whole other level of depth and realism.
3D integration, huh? Sounds pretty complicated.
Yeah.
Do you need, a supercomputer to pull that off?
Not really. I mean, it can be a little more technical.
Okay.
But the tools for 3D integration have become a lot more user-friendly lately.
Ah, okay.
And with a little practice, you can create some really mind-blowing effects.
Okay, so 3D integration check. What other skills should motion graphic ninjas have?
Well, character animation is essential.
Yeah.
I mean, bringing those characters to life, that's a whole art form in
Like,
itself.
for sure.
It needs a deep understanding of anatomy, movement, and timing.
Yeah.
You got to make those characters feel believable, engaging.
Character animation. Sounds tough. I can barely draw a stick figure.
Huh?
Can you learn that stuff without, like, going to art school forever?
You don't need a fancy art degree now.
Okay.
There's a ton of amazing resources online.
Oh, right.
Like those offered at, you guessed it, Kinomentor.com.
There it is again.
They've got it all. Breaking down complex concepts into easy-to-follow lessons, helping you master those skills step by step.
Yeah. It's like the Netflix of motion graphics education.
Yeah.
Right. So we've talked about the technical skills.
Right.
But what about the creative side of things?
Yeah.
Where do you even start when you're looking at, like, a blank After Effects project?
Well, it all starts with a solid idea,
Okay.
What story do you want to tell?
Yeah, yeah.
What message are you trying to get across? Motion graphics is about more than just making things move, right?
That's true.
It's about using movement to make people feel something, tell a story. Really grab the viewer's attention.
So it's like being a visual storyteller.
Exactly.
You're not just animating to animate. You're
Right,
using animation to bring something to life.
Yeah. It's about finding that balance between your technical skill and artistic vision, blending those two to make something truly unique.
Okay, I like it. We've got
Yeah.
the skills, the tools, the inspiration. But what about the actual process? When you're working on a new project, where do you even start? Do you just, like, jump right in? Or is there some sort of plan?
Well, each project is a little different.
Okay.
But usually I like to make sure I really understand the goals of the client. What message do they want to communicate?
Makes sense.
Then it's all about brainstorming ideas, sketching things out, creating a roadmap for the project.
It's kind of like building a house, right?
Exactly.
You don't just start putting bricks together.
Nope.
You need a blueprint first.
That's a great analogy. And just like a house needs a strong foundation, a motion graphics project needs a solid design foundation.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you can have the coolest animation in the world, but if the design is weak, it won't matter.
So it's all about balance then. Technical skills, a creative vision, a good design sense. Like a delicious motion graphics smoothie. All right, more motion graphics wisdom coming up after the break. And we are back. All right, time to wrap up our motion graphics deep dive. We covered a lot today.
We did.
From, like, the history and tools to the creative process and those all-important skills you need.
Yeah.
But before we go, we got to talk about the future of motion graphics.
Okay.
It's like we're at the edge of this digital frontier,
Yeah.
and who knows what's coming next.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, the field is changing so fast.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a lot of really cool trends popping up, like immersive experiences, interactive storytelling, even combining animation with AR and VR.
Whoa, AR and VR, it's like those sci-fi movies are becoming reality.
Yeah.
But seriously, what does this mean for motion graphics artists? Do we all have to, like, learn to code now?
Well, it's a great time to be a motion graphics artist, that's for sure. All this new tech, it's like opening up a whole new world of creative possibilities. Imagine, designing experiences that blend with the real world,
Yeah.
where animation isn't just something you watch on a screen, but something you can interact with.
Whoa.
You can step inside of it.
So motion graphics are like breaking free from the screen and coming into our world. That's pretty mind-blowing. But all that new tech, it's a lot to take in.
I know, right? Where do you even start learning all that stuff?
Well, that's where good education comes in.
Okay,
It's super important to have that solid understanding of the fundamentals.
Right.
But you also got to be able to adapt to new technologies.
So true. So where can you find that kind of training? I think we both know the answer to this one.
Yeah. Kinomentor.com. It's the place to go.
They're like the Yoda of motion graphics. Guiding young Padawans to motion graphics mastery. But seriously, if you really want to step up your game and, stay ahead of the game, check out Kinomentor.com. They've got everything you need.
Yeah, they've got you covered.
Yeah.
From the basics to the really advanced stuff.
It's all about embracing the evolution of motion graphics,
Yeah.
The tools will change, but at the end of the day, it's still about storytelling, creativity, communication.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Well, folks, that's our deep dive into motion graphics. We hope you learned some stuff today.
Yeah.
Maybe even got a little inspired. Remember, it doesn't matter if you're a pro or just starting out. Motion graphics is a world of endless possibilities. So get out there and animate.
Yeah, create.
Create. Explore. And hey, if you get lost, Kinomentor.com is there to help. Stay curious, my friends.